Good afternoon. Welcome to Midcap Radar. I'm Reema Tendulkar. With me is Sonal Bhutra, and these are the top stories at 1:30 p.m. Midcaps outperform larger peers even as Nifty holds above 17,100. The street looks ahead to the U.S. Federal Reserve monetary policy decision later today.
Imami fires up on the back of its buyback agenda. The board meets on Friday to consider a buyback that could be as large as 580 crore rupees with shareholders' approval and 250 crore rupees as per the board's approval.
Sonata Software gains as it inks its largest ever contract, signing a $160 million deal with a U.S. retailer for 10 years.
Anupam Rasand perks up on its big capex plan. Management tells CNBC-TV18 they are investing 670 crore rupees to set up 3 new plants in Gujarat as part of their brownfield expansion push.
Stellar bookings boost Ashiana Housing. Annual bookings surpass its guidance of 1,100 crore for the current financial year.
Okay, all right. Those are the top headlines that we are tracking for you on Midcap Radar. Continues to be a range-bound day today for our own markets ahead of that big FOMC meet outcome that is expected. Nifty is up around 30 points. We also have the Bank Nifty, which is in line with the benchmark indices. It has come off slightly from the highs, but is in that range of around 100-odd points. Bank Nifty, too, is higher by 76 points as we speak. So, of course, in a wait-and-watch mode today, Reema.
Indeed. We've got a corporate waiting by to chat with us. So, Sula Vineyards is a stock which is on our radar. This is on the back of CLSA initiating coverage on the stock. The target price is set at 475, and they see a potential upside of 40% in the stock. Today as well, the stock is fairly buoyant. It's a gain of close to about 5.7%. Rajiv Samant, the MD and CEO of Sula Vineyards, is now with us on the show now. Mr. Samant, thank you very much for joining in. The first question is actually on the lock-in period. Sula listed exactly 3 months ago. 2 days ago, your 3-month lock-in period ended, and we learned that approximately 5% equity, which was locked in, is now available for sale. Have you heard from any of the shareholders about wanting an exit?
Quite frankly, no. I have not heard directly from any of the shareholders. I'm very pleased with what's happened over the last couple of days. Lock-in, as you know, ended yesterday. And yes, the shares were down a bit yesterday, but today there's been a really nice bounce back in our shares. And I think that, shareholders are focusing on the long-term story of Sula, the medium-term story of Sula, and things like, lock-in periods ending, etc., is starting to be a bit immaterial.
No, the thing is that because usually when the lock-in period ends, we do get an update via block deals or something else that a part of the anchor investors, they've sold something. So we just wanted to understand if there has been any conversation or any potential offloading that any of your investors will be doing.
I have not had any conversation directly with any of our anchor investors at this point.
When is the next lock-in which expires or opens up? And what will be the quantum available for sale?
So I know that at 180 days, the 6 months, of course,
Yes.
lock-in is a significant one for a number of us. I must say that I'm not exactly certain if there's also a 120-day period, but definitely the 6-month period is the next one that's the most crucial, I think, for the stock.
And at that time, what will be the shares available for sale, which get unlocked?
I think something like up to 20% of could get unlocked potentially at that time.
Okay, we get that point. Now, let's get to the business, because today the shares are the share price is buoyant. The stock markets are excited about your stock as well. I was going through the last conversation that we had, and of course, we are in a time when we are talking about bad harvest, or at least not at the appropriate levels which farmers would like. I know last time you told us that there has been no impact on your harvest or your procurement as well. So are you procuring at lower prices? Because across the board we have been hearing, and our colleagues have been speaking to farmers, doing ground reporting, that yes, there is actually an impact on ground. So if that's not the case for you, our price is lower.
See, most of our grapes come in on long-term contracts. So, variations due to inclement weather do not impact the price of our grapes. So as I said already, we have barely been affected by the unseasonal rains. So we have been able to procure exactly what we need in terms of quantity, and the quality also looks great.
Mr. Salmon, that's what you said, that, last time as well, that there has been no impact on quality or the amount as well.
We are not seeing any reduction in price of the grapes that we're bringing in. That's a contract.
Okay, it's been stable.
Yes, stable price.
Okay, all right.
Okay. You don't have any formal contracts to purchase some of the packaging materials. Are you looking to enter into long-term agreements, long-term supply agreements for packaging materials to make sure that the volatility doesn't impact?
So we typically have one-year agreements with our packaging suppliers, and typically they renew on the 1st of April. So there might be, because we are in the last couple of weeks of March, it might look like we don't have a long-term supply. But in fact, we have one-year supply contracts. They renew on the 1st of April, and that's generally pretty well accepted corporate practice.
So when you renew on the 1st of April, around that time, will the overall price be lower than the last year? Is it higher? And if yes, by how much? What's the change?
We are actually hoping that there's going to be a little bit of a reduction. Having said that, in the last 6 months, there was an increase in packaging prices, but we dealt with that well. And we're hoping that for FY24, in fact, prices are going to be slightly lower than the second half of FY23.
By how much, based on the current rates?
I can't really quantify that. It's for us, our supply chain is so complex. Just in terms of bottles, we buy around 12 different kinds of bottles, and each of those goes all over the place. But, a fairly significant reduction in packaging material. And I think that we are not alone in that. Consumer goods across the board are noticing things coming down after a very hectic price increase that happened just after COVID.
Okay. Mr. Samant, I was just going through the CLSA note today. They say that they expect gross margins to sustain at the 69 to 70% levels for the next 2-3 years for the company as well. Now that we are talking about these procurement prices being stable, what is the long-term contract here? I'm just trying to understand the market dynamics as to pricing for procurement, and will that impact you in any way, say, next 2 to 3 years?
So look, our grape prices tend to be pretty sticky. So the contracts in terms of our grapes, we sign 13-year contracts. So that's very long term. And let's understand that grape prices are something like, grapes are something like 70% of our cost of goods. So that tends to be very sticky. So we are not as much, subject to the vagaries of the other consumer goods in terms of packaging. Packaging for us tends to be a much smaller proportion of our COGS than grape costs. And that looks quite sticky. We have great visibility on that going out the next 5 or 6 years. And that's where the analyst report is coming from.
Okay, all right. So, of course, bullish commentary there, and just needed some clarification. While we are at the point of shareholding, Mr. Samant, I wanted to understand the pledge that you have in terms of promoter shareholding. By when do you plan to pay that off?
So I do have a pledge on quite a small proportion of my shares because I had to convert warrants into shares at the time of the IPO. So I did need to finance a little bit for that. So the way it's going to work is as and when one gets dividends and other payouts, one just keeps paying it down. And I do hope that it should get paid sooner rather than later. I'm sorry, I don't have more detail than that.
What is the plan for FY24 with respect to expanding your distribution platform? Have you made plans?
So we do have a couple of new markets that we're looking at that we hope to announce in our April update, once we have the full details there. But, we are always expanding our distribution reach in terms of our sales force as well. We will be expanding our sales force. We, in fact, shrank a little bit during COVID, and now we're coming back very aggressively. So we hope to be in more tier 2 cities and with more promotion behind that than what we've been in the past. In the past, we've been very metro and tier 1 driven, and we really hope that FY24 is going to be a year of tier 2 city growth.
Okay. While you will look to bring down your pledged shares, why the dividends that you receive from the company, and last year as well, I think you announced some dividend of 4.5, 5 rupees. Could you give us an indication of the dividend policy? And 2, do you have plans to sell any stake in the company to raise some money?
So our dividend policy states that we can pay up to 80% of our profit after tax as dividend. Of course, that's very dependent on what the board decides, because it depends on each year's cash flow. We do not ever want to pay a dividend that puts us in a difficult cash flow situation. However, the company today is in a very strong cash flow situation, as well as a very favorable net debt to EBITDA ratio. As far as I'm concerned, I am so happy with whatever I'm doing right now with my leadership of Sula. And I have no thought right now or no intention of selling any of my shares, at least in the near term.
Okay, Mr. Samant, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining us. So that's Sula Vineyards in focus. The stock is higher by 5.5%, and they are not impacted as far as the unseasonal rains are concerned in terms of procurement, and the pricing also has been stable. They plan to reduce the pledged shares in promoters, and Mr. Samant doesn't plan to sell any shares in the company as well. We'll slip into a short break. Up next, we'll connect with Sameet Shravan of Angel One for some technical trades. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Still tuned in to Midcap Radar on CNBC-TV18. It's a good time to get a technical check on the markets. Let's welcome Sameet Shravan of Angel One for just that. Sameet, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, it's been a range-bound trade so far, right? What are the charts suggesting? Will it be like that ahead of the big decision?
We are seeing some respite, finally around 16,800 in last couple of days. 16,800, 900, is the confluence point of multiple technical evidences. Market has managed to find support around it. But now, the confirmation would come only after surpassing 17,250. So 17,250 is the level to watch out for as far as Nifty is concerned. And once we see, breakout happening beyond 17,250, we can see a good relief move towards 17,500 or 600 as well. And, if that has to happen, Bank Nifty needs to surpass, 40,300. It has managed to find support around its important support. So banking stocks would be the drivers from here on. And once it surpasses important level, we could see a good, relief move across the broader market. Overall, if you see, thematic moves have been playing well since last couple of days. The broader market is doing well. So one needs to keep a close eye on, some of the broader market stocks. And overall, stock specific, yes, the opportunities are plenty.
Reliance Industries and ICICI Bank are also now participating on the upside, so joining the rally and continuing with its gains from yesterday for Reliance. Sameet, what about individual stocks?
Some of the life insurance companies have gained traction in last couple of days. So ICICI Pro is the one stock that is clearly looks promising from current level. If you look at the overall daily time frame chart, the stock has gained traction along with strong volumes. So from here on, will not be surprised to see this move extending probably towards 450 in next 2 to 3 trading sessions. As a trader, one can buy at current level, keep a stop loss somewhere around 418 and 450, 455. These are the next levels to watch out for. And as I said, the broader market is also doing well. So Tata Coffee is the one stock, that has caught traders' attention in last couple of days. Overall, if you see, the price and volume activity has been quite robust. So we expect Tata Coffee to move towards 215. That's our near-term target. As a trader, one can keep a strict stop loss somewhere around 202.4.
Okay, all right, Sameet, thanks a lot for joining us. With that, we'll slip into a break. Up next, we'll get you more on the markets and a lot of stocks which are buzzing around in the broader market. Stay tuned for that.
Welcome back. JK Tyre is a stock which is on our radar right now. It's up 4%, but from the day's high, it has slipped. At one point of time, JK Tyres was up a little bit, just up close to about, 5.5%. But look at the spike that you've seen in the stock price of JK Tyres. The news is that IFC will be investing $30 million into the company. $30 million is about 240 crore rupees, and with this, IFC will be holding about a 5.6% stake in the company through the issue of compulsorily convertible debentures. So once they get converted, IFC will hold a 5.6% stake. And they seem to indicate that this investment is to expand their capacity.
Yeah. It is actually to bolster the company's capital structure, of course, because there's a new investor coming in, and they will increase production of energy-efficient radial tires by more than 10%. They've given a target here as well, from 32 million to over 35 million tires a year by 2025. So basically, they're focusing on the energy-efficient tire field. They are talking about capex here, and of course, they've got a marquee investor coming in here as well. Interestingly, today, IFC also invested in M&M's arm, Nuco. So, of course, IFC the auto stocks, of course, in focus on the back of these investment announcements that we have received in the last couple of hours. But Rima, that's about JK Tyre. You're also focusing on Sonata Software.
Yes, and that's because the company has won its largest ever order. It's a $160 million order. And this is spread over 10 years. So at a time when we are worried that, the deals, the large deal pipeline is going to dry up for the IT companies as the US economy starts slowing down, clients turn cautious, here you've got Sonata Software, which has won a very large deal. $160 million spread over 10 years. It's a retail company that's awarded the Sonata Software an order where Sonata will help in the end-to-end digitization. But the stock has slipped from the day's high. Again, we don't have clarity on what the margins on this particular deal are, but what we've learned from analysts is that the ramp-up will take place immediately. And it's a new deal. It's not a renewal of an existing deal. So that's a positive. Stock is up in the green, 1.5% higher. But again, it's off quite a bit from the day's high.
It is, but still in the green. So that's all about the markets and stock-specific action. We'll take your leave in this edition of Mid Cap Radar. Your stocks when we return.